y'all start out? I think there are 3 or 4 of you. I saw Connie and Stephanie DeJarnette and somebody else on. Why don't y'all start by unmuting and tell me what you'd like to know or what will be helpful for you as you build your business?
Hey, can I go ahead?
Absolutely.
Okay. Hey, it's Stephanie. Okay, so I'm in year 2. I've had 13 transactions. I feel, but they're mainly people. I've had 2 strangers. So 11 have been people I've known. 1 I met at an open house and ended up getting her daughter as well. And so now it's like, you can't really do open houses. I'm not exactly sure how I should be, I talk to as many people as I can, but it's everybody that I know, friends, family, neighbors, nobody's looking to do anything right now. And I'm not kind of, I wonder if, well, maybe I should, I know some people that have bought leads, and then it's like, well, wow, that's really expensive, and I hear it's not that great. So I'm just kind of stuck. I've got something coming in September, a listing, but again, it's another neighbor, so I'm lucky with that. But I just need more activity, and I'm not sure where to find it.
So Stephanie, what my coach has me doing is calling people that I know and just, chatting with them about, do you have any fears that are in the market? Do you, are you worried about anything? And just having a chat. And then when they tell me what their issues are or what are they thinking, or, that they have a 5-year plan or whatever, then I've been asking them who they know that might benefit from the same consultative services that I've just given them. And about, I guess, probably 7 to 8 times out of 10, they'll have a friend or a colleague who's in the same stage of life that they're in, and I'll get permission to call them just to check in and see what their concerns are and say, hey, Stephanie thought that you might benefit from kind of my consultative service. And it's been going really well for me. I've added, probably I'd have to get Lauren to give me the exact number, but I've probably added 40 people to my database since this whole thing started just being consultative.
Well, how do you, well, yes, it does, but how do you specifically, what do you consult them about? Do you talk to them about interest rates? Do you talk to them, what they're saying that the market could be with this past year? Do you just lament the fact that it's a bummer?
No. Most of the time I've just been, like, so where do you see yourself in 5 years, or what do you see yourself doing? And some of them have, a 1-year-old, and, they're not looking to move until they start kindergarten, which is 4 years from now. But, they'll tell me that they want to have one more child, or, they know they have to move in 5 years because of kindergarten. And then I've also got some people who are probably in the same boat you and I are in, Stephanie, empty nesters whose kids are in college. So, I've just been asking them, what are they thinking? Do they want to stay in that big house? Is that their game plan for retirement? Or, and so we're just kind of chatting about what the market is and what's going to go on down the road. I'm not really asking for referrals for people they know that want to buy or sell. I'm who was ready to buy her first house. One of them had parents that were thinking about moving to the area because they were retiring and needed to be closer to family. And then I had two where they were pregnant with their third babies in 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes that were related to the people that I called. Make sense?
It does. And that's good. And it just kind of evolves, I think, is what you're saying as you talk to people. So the whole point is you've got to make the phone calls.
Right, and you're not asking for anything, Stephanie. You're just checking in to see, you care about them. So what are their real estate goals for the next 5 to 10 years?
Do you follow up with a handwritten note after you talk to them?
Always.
Okay.
Always, always. So, and then another tip that I heard on a mastermind that was really good, and we tried that, Taylor and I tried that last week. It hasn't come to fruition yet, but one of the girls on, I'm not sure if it was Courtney's team or Madeline Sue's team, they were driving around in their neighborhoods looking for houses where the grass was unkempt and needed work, like too long. And so then they would park their car in the driveway and go up and knock on the door and kind of look in the window. And several of the houses that she checked on were vacant because they had landlords and their tenants had moved out and they just didn't know how to handle, getting new tenants in there with COVID. And so they picked up 3 listings just by tracking down the sellers and telling them what a great market it was. So I thought that was a great tip. And Taylor and I have a listing in a neighborhood out in Woodstock, and there were 2 houses in there where the grass looked like crap. So we've now spoken to both of the owners. One of them is thinking about selling, and the other one is trying to figure out how to get a renter in there. So we theoretically have picked up 2 pieces of business by knocking on doors where the yards look like shit. I'm sorry, language. So I thought that was a good tip, and it was an easy thing to do, and we've done it. So now we've talked to 2 owners we wouldn't have talked to, because I would have never in a million years thought about going up and knocking on somebody's door whose yard looked terrible. Any other questions? Did I lose y'all?
No, we're here.
We're here.
Okay, good. I thought just my luck, I've lost them on 400 somewhere. So anyway, those are just 2 of the things that we've been doing besides talking to our database. And, if you have friends and clients, even if you didn't sell them, if you were a new agent and they bought between 7 and 10 years ago, now is a really good time because they've got a ton of equity since they bought at the bottom of the market to do something else with that equity. Are all the people that are in your phone in your database? Yes, no?
No, not mine.
Why not?
I'm a new agent. I just started about 2 weeks ago, so I'm just kind
Oh,
of
yay.
I'm just trying to figure out where to begin, what to do, and how to get clients. So
So this series that Nick has started will help you do that. And you just need to figure out what's your way of connecting with people. You know, for some people it's expired. For some people it's for sale by owners. For some people it's the people in their database, which is what I do.
okay.
So I talk to people that I know and just try to be consultative and helpful. So to me, the easiest way to lead generate is with people who already know and love you.
Right.
Your friends, your neighbors, your family, they already know and love you. So that's always, to me, the easiest place to start.
Okay.
So do you have an iPhone? Because I'm not sure how Androids work.
I do have an iPhone.
Okay, so if you go to your contacts list, and this is for everybody on the phone, if you go to your contacts list and you scroll all the way to the bottom, there's a number there about how many people you have in your phone. Y'all want to tell me what that number is for each of you?
$432.
And Nick, how many people are in your database?
I think total 1,300.
That's great. So your database must consist of people who aren't friends and family.
Yeah, I have a lot of old coworkers and people that had added me on LinkedIn or random people I know on Facebook.
So that's a great idea for you to log those people into your database who you used to work with, because they already know how professional and wonderful you are. Stephanie, how many people?
I have 611, but with that, I was just starting to scroll through, and a lot of these are from my kid and I used to like share an account. So I've got to clean all his crap out.
Well, I don't know. How old is your kid?
Well, he's 22 yesterday.
Oh, wow. So he has friends that are graduating from college that might be in that list who might need you to help them find a rental or a purchase.
That's a thought. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anywhere you can find business is a great thing. And Stephanie, if you still have people that are in college, during exams, one thing that we do is we send them a Starbucks card.
Good idea.
So it's an easy thing to do, and it just says, you know, we just thought you might need some coffee to keep you awake during exams. Let us know how you did, right? And most college students are text or IM or DM. So it's easy to stay in touch with them. Kellen, my youngest, just graduated from college in December, and I've gotten 3 referrals from her for Savannah and Statesboro, 1 for a rental, but 2 that were looking for places to buy. So stay in touch with those college students. They are future clients. And how many in your database, Stephanie?
Right about 100. And
Okay.
I've been struggling with trying to get it. I'm writing notes about trying to get it organized with Command, and I've been talking with Nick about that to try to do the YouTube channel as far as, you know, a kind of a step by step. And I have a just one newsletter that goes out once a month, and then I do birthdays and house anniversaries, and that's kind of all I'm doing right now. And then of course anything else that I, you know, happen upon or hear.
Are you doing any kind of pop buys or?
I did that. I did those last year. I haven't done anything since since March, since the pandemic. I did stuff at Christmas. I did stuff for back to school. I mailed Thanksgiving cards. And then I also do like market updates and mail to my neighborhood. And then I've been farming this other neighborhood for about a year and a half. And I do listed solds and market updates to them. I've had 3 appointments in there from farming. I haven't gotten anything yet. One changed their mind. One didn't like what I said about her house. And the other one went with someone else. I don't know why. But I don't know that I'm going to spend that money farming anymore because it's been almost 2 years and I haven't really gotten anything yet.
Got it. Well, that's your mark. Your 24 to 30 months is when you will start getting things if you're going to get anything.
Right.
Good. Good. All right. Jeannie, any questions?
Just listening and soaking up your wisdom, Donna. Molly and I were thinking about ordering those touchless keys that somebody mentioned in team meeting. Have you heard anything about that?
I haven't. So see, you learn something new every day. Tell us about it.
Yep. Well, it's the touchless key that you can use during the pandemic to avoid touching a lot of surfaces. It's a lot more expensive than we expected, but we have not mailed out football schedules or baseball schedules like we usually do. So I'm thinking we're going to go ahead and do it because we've not spent that much during the pandemic.
Have you checked in to see if you can get them logoed, Jeannie, or?
Yeah, it'll have our logo on it.
Okay.
And that's
sometimes they're less expensive to go that way. You know, people think somebody putting your logo on it is so expensive, but usually the marketing pieces are wholesale, so you end up spending less money to get them logoed than you would if you just mailed out something in general. So that's good.
So what you're saying is send it out without the logo on it?
No, I'm saying you did good by finding somebody to do the logo for you. That's
right.
Awesome.
Yeah, they do all of it. Yeah. It's
good.
just
Are
more
they mailing it
expensive than I thought.
Are they mailing it to Jeannie, or are you and Molly doing that?
No. We will be. We're just ordering 100, and I think we're going to leave them at our clients, past clients, and future clients' front door.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Don't forget to take a picture.
Right.
If they don't answer the door, don't forget to take a picture and text them to let them know that you've left them a gift, because then that's like 2 for 1, right? They got the gift and you heard from them and they heard from you.
Exactly. So that's what we're about to do. Yeah.
All right. Lisa, Connie, anything?
Hey, Donna, I have a question for you. For new agents, what would you recommend kind of an amount of money they should spend on either pop buys or marketing or farming to try to start to build those relationships?
Well, the most you want to spend ever is MREA says 10% most. So, and that would have to be, you know, something really, really fabulous for you to, if you're trying to make $100,000, for you to spend $10,000 on marketing is a lot of money. I will tell you that I have never spent 10%, and my coach gives me grief all the time because she says to me, well, just think if you spent 10%, the return that you would have. But I just don't typically do that. And I guess I could spend that, y'all, if I sent to a fulfillment center to get it done. But typically either hand deliver like Jeannie's getting ready to do, or like when we do pies, they come to us. So I'm not really at a point where I need a fulfillment center. We try to space it out, and I have my mom, Taylor, and Lauren to help. So it saves a lot on postage, for sure. So Nick, I know that doesn't really answer your question.
No, it does answer my question.
MREA really says 10% is what you should be spending on marketing for yourself.
Donna, you said 10% of what?
You make.
Got it. That's what I thought.
So when you make out your budget, when we start doing business planning in September or October, early October, and you make out your budget for 2021, be sure that you budget for spending money and get that money in your business account. Or have a credit card that's totally dedicated to marketing. And then Jeannie, you and Molly, y'all will be like half and half. So that's awesome.
Exactly. Right.
Hey, Donna, it's Molly. I've got a mask on, so hopefully you can hear me.
I can absolutely hear you.
Okay. Are you spending, because we haven't spent a lot of money, like she was saying, on schedules, sports schedules, obviously this year, because of what's going on. Are you spending, I mean, are you kind of trying to cut back because of what's going on, or do you feel like you're not?
Now's not the time to cut back, Molly.
Okay.
That people need to hear you and need to know that you're out there working.
Okay. Gotcha.
So some things that y'all can do if you haven't is send out a postcard that has everything you sold on it this year.
Uh-huh.
Or do a Facebook and Instagram video of everything you've sold this year.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
Y'all can all go to my Facebook page. I think it's on my business page and my Instagram. And we just did a video of the 22 homes we closed in the first half of the year.
Okay.
I am absolutely happy for y'all to copy it. You know, the theory at Keller Williams, does anybody know what R&D means?
Right.
Rip off and do.
Yes. So don't reinvent the wheel. We're a sharing company. So rip off and duplicate anything that anybody's got that sounds good to you.
Right. Okay.
So, but I would not right now, Molly, stop my marketing at all. Okay. Now's the time when you really need to be reminding people that you are in business. And like we've had to think of new ways, right? So I was concerned about all the kids and how terrible they're, you know, people said to me, oh my gosh, it's just like summer vacation for them. I'm like, y'all, it is nothing like summer vacation for them. So we separated everything into age groups and we sent gifts to the kids that were in our database, which we got a ton of bang for the buck for that.
That's an awesome idea.
it mostly came from Oriental Trading Company, Molly. Just silly little stuff. The thing that really people absolutely loved was the build-it-yourself birdhouse.
Okay.
And I think they were like $1.50 each.
Okay.
And then we stuck one of those little sponge paintbrushes in the box with the birdhouse so that they could go get their own paints and paint them whatever color they wanted.
That is so cute.
And then we did seeds. We got those peat pots, you know, that disintegrate in the ground. And we got those and gave them with seeds to all of our clients as well, the younger ones, you know, the ones that were like 3 to 5 that could actually plant and watch seeds.
Those are awesome.
And then Lauren got online and researched card games and put in we did it on cardstock and printed 2 like solitaire games that were kind of updated for kids. And then 2 games that you could play with 1 or more people and put those cardstocks in with a deck of cards. So we gave those to our 12 to 15-year-olds. And then our seniors that were graduating and having such a hard time, we spent a little bit more money and got journals for them. And we got a huge amount of feedback and some great calls for listings from some of that.
What was the thing you said that was, I think it was RFD?
No, R&D, Stephanie.
Oh.
Rip off and duplicate.
Rip off and duplicate. Okay.
Yes. R&D. So anything that you see that looks really great that somebody else is doing, don't reinvent the wheel. Just copy it and change it for your logo. Make sense? I know we're having kind of an abbreviated and difficult time with school going into the fall, but we're still going to send out our Brewster's coupons and our Starbucks coupon cards, I guess, because we felt like they could still use a treat, and it really is still time for school, whether they're going back traditionally or not. So I'm happy to send y'all that letter, or if you want to email me, we'll get it out to you that we use for Starbucks. We tell people that we're sorry their traffic is going to get worse because school is starting, and maybe the sweet treat will help them. And then we send Brewster's cards to the kids who are starting school. I don't send them to the adults, but I send them to the kids and tell the parents in the letter that it's a great treat to find out what your kid's first day or first week at school is like.
How much do you spend on those?
On Starbucks and Brewster's?
Yes.
That costs us about $800 for the beginning of school, and I have almost 500 people in my database. So I mail out the $3 Brewster's cards to the kids. If they have 1 kid, they get 1. If they've got 4 kids, they get 4.
Okay.
And then we only mail out 1 Starbucks card, which I know is a ripoff for husbands and wives, but we only mail out 1.
And the Starbucks card goes to parents of children who are going back to school.
No, it goes, Jeannie, to my single people that don't have any kids and have no idea until it hits them why their traffic is worse.
Okay, thanks.
And we have those separated out in our database to singles and families. We know who we're sending to. And then, like, I'll have comments, like people who graduated from college, you know, from high school, their kids go on to college, right? And then they don't get their Brewster's card. And they'll call me and they'll go, oh my gosh, I guess we're singles now. I'm like, yep, because you don't have any more kids at home to worry about the school year. So all of those generate calls, which are great ways to have your database come to you rather than you having to go to the database always with something. And then the other thing that's a great thing to do, and it doesn't matter what time of the year you start it, we do ours in February and March, but we send out market analyses to every house that we have in the database. So all we say is, hey, we thought you might want to know what has been happening in your neighborhood in the last year. So since we're August the 1st, I would pick July the 20th or 31st of last year to August the 1st this year. And we just send them a market analysis by email, just a quick CMA on FMLS. And then we print it and mail it to them snail mail. And I don't go to a lot of trouble about that, y'all. I just write across the top, hey, wanted to make sure you got this snail mail as well as by email. Hope y'all are having a great summer. If you have any questions, give me a call. Would love to hear from you. And then in about 30 days after we've snail mailed and emailed, we call them to make sure they got it. So we get 3 touches out of that one touch. Any questions about that?
If they're not in a subdivision per se, would you send their whole zip code, or would you just try to figure it out by like a 1 or 2 mile radius kind of thing?
I would do that, Stephanie, by not, I wouldn't overwhelm them with a zip code.
Okay.
I would try to get as close to their property as I can. So let's say they're on 1 to 2 acres in Cherokee, and they're in area 113, I'd probably pull up properties that are 1 to 2 acres, not in a neighborhood in Cherokee.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Mm-hmm.
So that you're not so specific, but you're increasing their curiosity, so to speak. Any other questions about that? It's a really easy one to do. No?
Yeah, I have a question. So one thing I noticed you mentioned when you were talking about the gift cards, the Brewsters and Starbucks, was that people called you to be like, oh, I don't have my Brewsters gift cards. How long, you know, like farming takes, you know, you like 24 months to 30 months to start getting a return. How long would you expect after doing something like the gift cards and then the CMAs, would you start to get calls from that?
I would say calls would begin probably immediately, Nick, to like, I've got people who said, oh my gosh, we got that from you and we were on spring break and I should have called you before now, but now it's July and the kids are getting ready to go back to school. Could you send me an updated market analysis? Because we're thinking maybe by the fall or maybe early spring we'll be ready.
Oh, wow.
So those have pretty much staying power. And I think the emailed ones are probably just a tickler, but when they get it in the mail as a hard copy, then it kind of sits around on the kitchen cabinet or on the refrigerator or you know, stuck on their desk pigeonhole until they've got time to think about it.
Yeah.
And that's, y'all, that's something nobody else can do for them, right? Or is thinking to do for them. I mean, you know their home and their neighborhood well enough for you to be able to do that. And if they're in a traditional neighborhood, we just send the neighborhood. And like in across the street, one of the neighborhoods that we really like is two neighborhoods. It's State Street and Devereaux in Roswell. So when I'm sending to State Street and Devereaux, I do both neighborhoods. Because you never know, who you're gonna appeal to in either neighborhood. So maybe somebody wants to move up to State Street from Devereaux, and now they have an idea what they're selling for. Or since they all meet at the pool, now Sally knows what Jane got for her house. So it's an easy, awesome touch. And then there's tons of things you can do in the fall, of course. There's Labor Day. There's, well, I guess now we're not celebrating Columbus Day anymore. I think that's a no now. Anyway. But, mums, if we were in a traditional yearly time, Jeannie and Molly are right. They could have been doing football schedules or basketball schedules. But I would say anything that's of interest, like I know that one team out of the in-town office in February every year and September of every year, they put out a postcard that has all the festivals coming up. Now, I know in COVID, that's probably a lot of those are not going to happen. But if they're outside, like I don't know that they're not doing the Dogwood Festival this fall. Does anybody know?
No.
It's been rescheduled.
Okay. So maybe you send out a blurb about where they can get COVID tested. Maybe you send out in your area where they could go get those tests done. But y'all have to take advantage of what's going on in the market. So just think a little bit ahead of your people and think about what you'd like to know that you can share with them that might help. I keep seeing these lists on Facebook about the greatest gadgets that are going to be gone for Christmas or Hanukkah if you're stuffing stockings or any of that type shopping while you're sitting at home. Maybe those would be some fun lists to create, or I don't know, creative ways of getting family together on Zoom conferences. Just, y'all, whatever you're thinking about that you wish you could do, your clients are thinking the same thing. So if you could help them achieve that, that would be awesome. But all of your databases should have those people in there that are in your phone. So while you've got time, I'd pull out all of my contacts on my phone and make sure that if you've got them in your phone, they should be in your database. Nick's the only one, I think, that has the opposite problem from the rest of us. Questions? Anybody have a thought about how to do something or when to be able to do it?
Hey, Donna, are y'all going to be having any events anytime soon, client events?
We're still doing pies, Jeannie. We're still doing pies.
Pies, yeah.
For Thanksgiving, we've already reserved Rockies Lake Estate again to do that. I don't know if people will come or not, but we're gonna start trying to get our feet wet and see. I think we'll send out the date. We usually wait until about October 15th to do that. So I think we'll probably send out the dates a little earlier this year and just kind of see what kind of feedback we get.
Yeah.
And you know, we may end up delivering those this year instead of having I didn't see any reason to hold back on going ahead and reserving Rockies.
Right. Yeah, I don't blame you. That's a great thing to do. People love that.
Well, it's easy. They come to you. It's not horribly expensive unless you know, like the venue is the biggest expense of what we do.
Right.
The pies usually run us right around $1,000 to $1,200. So that part of it's not expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what the future is going to bring, but I don't want to say I'm not going to do it, even if we have to deliver it, because we've been doing it for, 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
So even if we have to modify a little bit, we're still going to do it. And I am hopeful that by then, everybody should feel a little safer about getting out, but you know, who knows?
Right.
Anybody else planning anything?
I'm considering, and I think I'm going to do it. We have a clubhouse in my neighborhood, and I can reserve it for pretty cheap. And my cousin is a photographer, and I am thinking about doing a pictures with Santa at the clubhouse, kind of what you do, and having cookies and juice boxes, and everybody comes and gets their kids taking pictures with Santa, and then I have her print them in like a special frame kind of thing, or one of those even frames that you put somehow the picture melds onto a wooden block. I'm not sure what it's called. But
yeah, I have those done every year with mine, and start looking, Stephanie, for the coupons for CVS and Walgreens for their photo department. Buy one, get one free, or half price, or 40% off. And they usually end up running us about $3 a piece.
okay.
So start looking for those so that you can get a jump on the expense.
So go ahead and get the coupons, and go ahead and just hold the coupons?
Yes.
Until it's time? Okay. And use those at the time?
Yep.
Okay.
But there's always coupons for that.
Okay.
So easy to do and a great way to save money. But I don't we're going to have any football schedules or any of that kind of thing to mail out. Plus it's getting late to have those printed if they did decide we were going to have a season. So we got to think of other ways to keep in touch with people in the fall. So just keep talking to people and be consultative and see what you can do to help. And then there's like I said, a million ways in the fall. We went out to a grower's, like a wholesale floral grower year before last, I guess. and got mums, and we put them in a peat pot and then put ribbon around them and hung them on people's front doors. So that was an easy touch as well. And it brightened up their front porches, and it was inexpensive. I think the flowers cost us about $1 a piece, and the peat pots were like 50 for 20 bucks. And then the ribbon from Amazon was really cheap too. So I think it really was an inexpensive thing other than the gas we used driving around.
Hey, Donna, you hung the mom in a what?
Jeannie, you know those peat pots that you get that they just disintegrate once you put the flowers in the ground? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. No. I'm not sure what you're talking about. How do you spell?
Okay. P-E-A-T.
Oh, peat. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Peat.
Peat pots. Right. We ordered them from Amazon, and then we ordered some fall ribbon from Amazon, and we used a hole punch and punched a hole in the peat pot. Yeah. And strung the ribbon through it. And then we hung them, you know, gold and orange and mums on people's front doors with the ribbon and the peat pot with the mum in them. Okay, I got you. I couldn't understand what you were saying. Sorry, I should be on physical Zoom and not on my phone. No, that's okay. Anybody else have any great ideas? Because I can't possibly be the only one that has ideas. Anybody want to share something they've done that they thought was successful with the group? Molly and I put out in our neighborhood that we farm all the time 500 American flags the day before 4th of July. And we got really good feedback, and it's easy and it's relatively cheap. And I was thinking, if somebody has the neighborhood that they're farming and they haven't done that, Labor Day might be a good day to do it also. Possibly. That's awesome, Jeannie. Yeah. That's a great one to do. And then y'all something, well, I guess we don't need to do it. I started to say school holidays, but since everybody's kind of on school holiday right now, I guess we don't need to know that. Gosh, I think my best tips, y'all, for growing your database and building business are staying in touch with your people and figuring out how you can help them. Something that we've started doing that's getting a huge feedback, and we've gotten a couple of referrals from it. I don't know why I didn't say it before. We've been, when we see on Facebook that you got a new kitten or a new puppy, we have been mailing a congratulations card from PetSmart with a $5 PetSmart gift certificate, the little gift card. And we have gotten so much great feedback from that, and it's kind of spontaneous, and then I think they feel like we're keeping an eye on them and know what's going on with their family. And it's a simple, easy thing to do. I don't know about you, but I'm stalking people on Facebook all the time anyway. That's a great idea. It's easy, Jeannie. It's just, you know, none of this stuff is hard, y'all. It just takes some thought and keeping up with people. And then, of course, if we ever see that there's been a death in the family or anything like that, we also send a sympathy card and, you know, just try to call and let people know that we're there and that we're thinking of them. So, and we do that for pets that have passed too, y'all, over the Rainbow Bridge. We always send a card if we see on Facebook that you've lost a pet. Paula Kellum is awesome. She makes so many contacts. She volunteers for a pet, Angels Among Us. She volunteers for Angels Among Us. And then she also will go and be there at the adoption days. And she has picked up a ton of customers from doing that and grown her database, not only with the volunteers she works with, but also with the people that come to shop for a puppy or a dog. So not that you want to get involved with Angels Among Us, I mean, whatever you want to do, but like anything that you're interested in that you like to do is a great way to meet new people and get involved. Gardening clubs. Jeannie, I know y'all do Rotary, and you know, there's just a bunch of things out there for you to get involved in that will boost your database and help you meet new people that you may not be meeting otherwise, especially if you're not feeling comfortable doing open houses right now. So just leaving pop-by gifts and talking to your friends and your family and walking the neighborhood. You know, I always try to do that when it's trash day, because you'll see so many people out picking up their trash cans and putting those back in. So if you ever want to scope out a neighborhood, trash day is always a good day, because people will stop and talk to you while they're picking up their trash cans. Any other questions?
Donna, I just had kind of a general question. Have you noticed that your business has slowed down a little bit since the beginning of the year, or not really?
No, we're up 12%, Molly.
Okay.
From where we were last year. And I think honestly it was just, and still could be, it's the care calls, you know? Right. I don't want to sing. I know this has just been tough on you, especially my moms that are trying to homeschool and work. And so I've just tried to be a resource and just chat with people.
Okay.
And I'm getting so many people, Molly, that are like, oh my gosh, if I have to listen to my husband on one more Zoom call, you can hear him all over the house. We have got to have a house where his office is either in the basement or at the total opposite end of the house from everybody else.
Right.
So we've actually gotten 4 or 5 people just from making those calls and just digging in to find out what's going on in their lives, you know, instead of just saying, hey, how are you?
Right.
Talking to people, gosh, how are you? I know y'all are both trying to work from home. That's got to be hard, especially with the kids, and then the whole story comes tumbling out.
Right. Okay.
So they are not phone calls that you're going to make in 5 minutes and be on and off the phone. I feel like if I can get 5 of those conversations in a day, I'm way ahead of the game.
Okay. Okay.
So if you haven't already, I would start reaching out to your database and the people you know, just to show them that you're thinking of them and you don't want a thing in return.
Right. Okay. I think we've been a little hesitant to call our database because we didn't want to be salesy during a pandemic, but I like that you're just calling and just saying like what's going on with you and just wanting to be a resource.
Yeah, I don't even say, you know, even if they bring up business, Molly, which they always do, when you know, people, they want to reciprocate.
Right.
That's why I say, if you're feeling guilty about calling people, then you've not given before you get.
Right.
Right? So if you've given to them, you shouldn't feel guilty about carrying on just a conversation. And in this day and time, even when they would bring it back to business, I keep it short. I say, gosh, we are absolutely slammed slammed. It's amazing the amount of people who are actually figuring out what they need in a home that they might not have slowed down enough to know what they needed before this all started. And then I just leave it there. And sometimes I'll say, oh my gosh, you're right. Because now we know if we ever want to get stuck in one of these again, we have got to have a pool.
Right.
Or we have got to have a place to get out of this condo because we feel like the four walls are closing in. So now I've got a little sheet, you know, that I'm keeping tally on, and I'm like, call them in 6 months, see if the walls are still closing in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm not saying, where do you want to move? Who do you know that needs to move? I'm not saying those in those calls. Those are just simply care calls. How are you doing? How's the family doing? How are you surviving the homeschool process?
Okay. Gotcha.
Got it?
Okay.
So then you're just carrying on conversations. There's no need to feel guilty.
Right.
And you're not bothering them, I promise you. I haven't had anybody say to me, oh my God, you're bothering me. Get off my phone, you know? Because I think they're so anxious for some sort of communication with somebody that's not who they're stuck in the house with.
Right.
I mean, I can't tell you how many virtual wine parties I've been invited to in the last 3 months.
Right.
And I mean, y'all can always host those as well. If you have a group of people that are around the same age, or maybe they have kids that are all going to the same school, you can always host a wine night or a trivia night by Zoom. Those are fun. I mean, I don't know if y'all participated in any of the ones we did at the office, where we did the trivia, Southern trivia, you know, and we gave a prize at the end of it. They were all so much fun. So I tried that with a group of moms that were stuck at home with their kids. We had the best time. We had a wine night, and there were 10 of us on the call, and I delivered them a bottle of wine that afternoon and put it on their front porch. So then we had a great wine evening, all chatting, and nobody had to go out and get COVID at the grocery store because I went and bought the wine. So, you know, $2 Chuck from Trader Joe's. It was easy.
Awesome idea.
So just anything y'all can think of to bring people together that might add to your database. I went to a social distancing surprise birthday party 2 weeks ago, and one of the ladies there that I didn't even know because she was from the, you know, this birthday party, she golfed, so there were golfing people there, and then there were just a couple of friends, and then there was a small group from church. So there were 10 of us that were there, and one of the golf ladies says, oh my gosh, Annette, you should have introduced me to Donna. You know my son wants to move. So it was a great evening because I got a referral from somebody I didn't know, and now I've added 2 people to my database, he and his mom. So I think if you look for opportunities to do that, it all comes full circle. I mean, y'all are all welcome. I don't know if you're feeling brave about coming into the office, but right now my office is a disaster area because we're staging for trying to put things away of all the stuff we gave to the kids, and we're trying to stage for the fall gifts that we're going to start doing. So my office is disaster, but if you want to come in and pick my brain, I'm happy for y'all to come and knock on the door and wear your mask and come in and see what we've got going on. Like I said, Stephanie, rip off and duplicate, right? So there's no reason why you can't do that.
Thank you, Donna. You're always so generous.
Oh my gosh, you're welcome. It's easy. Somebody helped me, Jeannie, and I'm so happy to help everybody else. You know, it takes a village. We don't get where we are by ourselves. Y'all should have some great people people, Jeannie, that Mickey knows out of Rotary that y'all could be checking on to see how they're doing. And anybody that has elderly people that might be in nursing homes or assisted living facilities, they're always so happy to hear from you. So check in, because, you know, I mean, if they're, I don't mean like if they have Alzheimer's or anything like that, but, you know, they really appreciate just you checking in.
Right.
And their children are going to remember that you checked in.
Right.
So, you know, just, I think just try to spread yourself out there and help who you can help and talk to who you can talk to. It's never a bad thing. And I promise you, if you give, you absolutely will get, because what comes around goes around. So it's always a nice thing. Anybody else? What can I help you with?
Quick question on the, when you do the CMAs for everybody in your database for the, for their specific neighborhoods, do you just do like the quick CMA for the year?
That's all I do.
Okay.
I go back. If I started it now, Stephanie, I would start with today, July 30th, and go back till August 1 last year.
Okay.
And I would just say, hey, with everything going on and all the schools, and then, you know, I think people get an idea from that really they don't need to be frightened of moving. You know, that people out there are buying and selling houses every day. So it's an easy conversation. But y'all, that has 3 pieces to it. So don't forget that the 3 rules of staying in touch with your database or any marketing piece that you do is mail, call, and see, right? So anything you do, you should be able to get at least a couple of touches out, right? Because you want the biggest bang for your buck as far as staying in touch with your clients. So, like I said, when y'all leave those door things, Jeannie, make sure if you don't get to see them in person, that you take a picture and send a text, and then I would follow up again to make sure they got it.
Right.
And then that provides you with another touch, Jeannie, because then after you talk to them on the phone to make sure they got it, then you can send them a note.
Right. Okay.
So great to talk to you last week. How awesome is that the kids are, you're in Cherokee and your kids are going back to school, whatever.
Right.
And y'all, it doesn't have to be a missive, you know, it can be just a note jotted down. I mean, how many times do you get handwritten mail anymore? It's very nice to know that somebody remembered you.
Yeah. Thank you, Donna. You're always so helpful. I appreciate it.
You are absolutely welcome. Nick, how are we doing on time?
We're good. I mean, I have, scheduled till 2:30, but just, however long the conversation goes, we're good.
Okay. So anybody have anything they want to share or they want to talk about, or they have questions that are not about building your database that you want to ask, or?
No.
Well, Donna, I have something I would like an observation I'd like to make on everything you've shared so far, is that at the core of everything you're doing, it always comes from a place of contribution and consistency. Yeah. And Jeannie had mentioned earlier, or her and Molly were mentioning that the fear of coming off salesy, and that's one of my fears too. I don't like salespeople, but the way you described everything is you were just coming from a place of genuine concern, wanting to provide value, help, and support. you weren't calling to make a sales call. You were calling to check in to see how they were doing. And then they wanted to bring up real estate. And I thought that's such an interesting way that's not taught very often in how to do sales.
Y'all, people want to give back. It's in our nature to want to give back. So if people feel like you're genuine and you're really calling to check on them and you're not looking at your watch going, okay, I've got my next call I got to make. I don't really care about your kid. And, oh, my God, I guess you need to go because the dog's barking, you know. As long as you're not acting like that, they are so happy to talk to you. And I think that was true even before COVID, but I really think it's true now. I called somebody about 2 weeks ago and I said, hey, Joyce, how are you? And she burst into tears and she goes, actually, Donna, I tested positive for COVID. I'm like, oh my gosh, Joyce, what can I do to help you? I make the same small circles every day. Do you need anything from the store? I could drop on your front porch, or do you need to go pick up a prescription? Is there anything I can do? And she said she had so many people call her, but nobody had really volunteered to do anything because they wanted to stay away from her because she had COVID. So she was touched that I would do that. And sure enough, 2 days later, she called me and she said, hey, Donna, she goes, would you mind? She goes, I'm out of creamer for my coffee. I'm like, oh my gosh, Joyce, that is awesome. Yes, I will do it. So I went to the store, I got her creamer, I left it in a bag on the front porch, and I don't know how y'all are, but I save all those stupid gift bags that I get. I mean, I got like drawers full of them. I need to throw them away. But I put it in a little happy bag, not just a grocery bag with a little card that I said, I hope she feels better. And I got the sweetest thank you note from her. Luckily, she's not one of those people that's in the hospital, you know. But I think all you have to be is genuine and then follow through with what you say you're going to do. And people know they can trust you. So easy. Just be yourself. Y'all are all wonderful people. Any other comments or insights or anything anybody wants to say?
I always appreciate your time, Donna. You've helped me.
Oh my gosh, Stephanie. Anytime. Easy. And anytime you're in the office, pop in to say hello because, you know, I'm pretty much always here. All right. Well, if we don't have any other questions, Nick, okay, if we wrap it up?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Donna. This has been really
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Donna. This has been
You
awesome.
are so welcome. And y'all, I apologize for it having to be on Zoom in my car. I promise to look at my schedule more closely next time, Nick.
You're fine. This has been wonderful. So it didn't matter.
Good. Well, y'all have a great day, and always feel free to call me if you need me. My cell phone number, in case y'all don't have it, is 404-661-3348.
Was that 861-3348?
Yep. 404-661-3348.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Have a great week.
You too. Thanks, Donna.
Bye-bye.
Bye.